Hello and welcome to Achieve Intentional Transformation Mentorship Program. 7 weeks to shift strategy, improve performance, and grow your revenues. My name is Dr. Leonie H. Mattison, and today I'm going to be sharing some information about the mentorship program and how you can achieve intentional transformation with us. Now, who is this program for? This webinar is developed for you and with you in mind. It is packed with value-added information to help women specifically to shift strategy, improve performance, and grow revenues so that you can increase your impact at home, at work, in school, and in the community. Now, what are some of the things that you will learn today? There are 6 things that you will learn during the webinar series today, and they are how to think and get crystal clear about the transformed woman you want to become by deepening your understanding of yourself and the outcomes you want to achieve. You'll learn how to harvest data and examine the lessons learned from the past and use the data that you've acquired and the knowledge that you've gained to make purpose-driven decisions that help to forge a new path forward. You'll learn how to release and break free from unsupportive behaviors that might impede your progress and take bold action steps to build an unshakable confidence as you step into your transformed self. You'll also learn how to enlist allies and dependable resources and engage with these value-added resources to build your confidence and reconnect to your power of intentionality to champion the transformation. You learn how to adopt a new mindset, build the skills and grow the skills necessary, and also adapt the behaviors that will empower you to bounce out of bed every day, brimming with excitement and the readiness to boost your performance and results. And lastly, you'll learn how to design a roadmap with milestones that inspires you to live and breathe the enthusiasm about the future as you bring your vision to life and step into this transformed self with confidence and optimism. Now, here's my promise to you today. My promise is to share my 6-step action transformational system to help you women who are watching today and the men who love us to shift strategy, improve performance, and grow revenues to increase your impact. Now on the screen, you'll see my 6-step system, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper during our webinar series today. Now, it will be remiss of me not to talk about my thread collection, which was designed to help you to restore your faith, your love, and your life. And in this collection are books, there are resources. We have devotional, coloring book, a workbook, and this mentorship program is part of that collection as well. So head on over to my website at www.leoniemattison.com and check out those valuable resources. Now, I have a couple questions for you to see if this is the right program to get you to where you're looking to go in this season of your life. So does this describe you? Are you a smart, driven, and successful woman navigating burnout from a demanding boss, maybe a soul-draining work culture, or an unfulfilling career, or an unhealthy relationship? No matter what you do, or how hard you try, you have like this persistent feeling of shame, guilt, anxiety, and a deep sense of emptiness. Or maybe you're an innovative high-performance team and you have reached a certain level of growth, but it's plagued by dysfunction and low self-awareness from your team members, producing more frustration than progress. And here's the thing, the team lacks energy, resources, and the skills that's required to get the wrong people off the team, hold people accountable, and give direct feedback. Or perhaps you are a leader of a rising or an established business, but you're struggling to empower the company to be more agile and to ensure that you continue to deliver real business results. Here's the thing for you, maybe you are finding that you're so reactive than proactive, and you let your emotions dictate your actions and allow others to dominate you when it comes to making leadership decisions. I bet this is also true. You are ready to take action steps to increase your effectiveness, your influence, and your impact. I bet you're ready to get the help to re-engage your team, to establish goals, and use committed action towards their achievement and sustainability. I bet you're looking for support and tools to shift strategy, improve performance, and increase revenue to generate greater returns. I also bet this is true. You want to cast a new vision that empowers everyone in your organization or on your team to gain their lost spark, elevate performance, skyrocket their productivity, and achieve extraordinary results. Does this describe you? I have a big question for you. Are you ready to achieve intentional transformation and get the results that you so want and deserve to see in your life? Well, if you are, get ready. Today, I'm going to share information from my brand new mentorship program called Achieve Intentional Transformation. It's a 7 weeks virtual experience where I will walk you step by step on how to shift strategy, improve performance, grow your revenues so you can increase your impact. Here's the thing. Intention minus attention equals chaos. Intention minus action leads to chaos. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what the real problem, why is it that it is so difficult to not only be intentional, but to live intentionality, align our behaviors or words and actions so they're intentionally producing the results we want to see and the ones that we deserve in our lives. We're going to talk about that today. Now, to get intentional means you get clear and upfront about who you want to become. Because here's the thing, ladies. When you know who you are, you're empowered to know and follow your purpose, and you also are empowered to add value to your life and to the life of others. When you get intentional, you make bold decisions and commit to adopting a new mindset that empowers you to take purposeful and deliberate action on what's important to you. When you get intentional, you set an intention to release unsupportive behaviors, everything that would keep you stuck to the old story so that you can achieve specific outcomes and results in the future that is important to you and those you're called to serve. Now, this could be a goal you want to achieve or something you want to have in your life. When you get intentional, once you get intentional, you gain the confidence to stand in your transformed self, to focus on what's most important to you, your business or your purpose or your performance, so that you are living and creating the steps necessary to fulfill those goals. Once you get intentional, you move forward with fervor, zeal, and great expectation every single day towards achieving the results and the outcome that you want. And when you get intentional, you enjoy your growth, you enjoy the progress and the results with gratitude. And guess what happens, ladies? You keep progressing forward as your most transformed self, the transformed woman that you've always known yourself to be. Now, yeah, I know you might be asking, who is this lady? Why is she telling us all these things? So let me give you just a little bit of snippet on my background. I'm an award-winning organizational and talent development practitioner. I have helped many CEOs, HR leaders, entrepreneurs, trauma survivors, and students to develop the grit and resiliency to achieve intentional transformation. We're going to talk about that today. I've survived complex trauma, including a near-death stroke, and was put to the test spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, and mentally. My mission and specialty is to help women use the power of intentionality to shift strategy, improve performance, and grow revenues to influence lasting change. And so today I'm going to share my 6-step system with you, which is called THREAD, the acronym THREAD, THREAD, and it is designed to help you to achieve intentional transformation. Now, the 6-step in the THREAD system, let's take a look at them. The first step is T, to think outcomes. The second step is H, to harvest data. The third is to R, release setbacks. The fourth step is E, enlist allies. And the fifth step is adopt a new mindset. That's A. And D is to design your success. And we're going to talk a lot about, we're going to get more detail and talk a lot about what that looks like and how you can apply this simple tool to help you to make personal, business, and professional decisions that will truly help you to get the results that you want and deserve in your life. Now, let's dive into step 1, think outcome. I love what Eckhart Tolle says, and he says, if you get inside right, the outside will fall into place. What that means is that transformation starts on the inside, and the results of the transformation is manifested on the outside. It's not the other way around. Now, when we talk about think outcomes, what we're talking about here is that your thoughts, being conscious and cognizant of your thoughts and understanding that they're the main ingredients of your intention. Your thoughts passes through your mind. And when you add them to focus and emotions, and over time, what ends up happening is that your thoughts become powerful and can affect your reality. Now, if you want to change the outside, you must change what's going on the inside. You must change the attention of your thoughts, because what you think directly influences how you feel. And how you feel directly influences your body reactions. And how your body reacts directly influences how you behave. And how you behave, guess what? It comes to define who you are and the experience that you live. So let's look at what I mean by that. So I have this little formula that says your attention plus your intention plus your reaction plus your action equals your outcome. So there is a link between, and it is a cycle between our thoughts or intentions or emotions or behavior and outcome. So it starts, let's look at this map. So if you look at the map, everything starts in our thinking. That's step 1, how you think. How you think then creates your thoughts. Then it moves down to step 2, which is now your intention. So you think it, then you start to plan. You start to plan, what am I going to do with my thoughts, right? What do you intend to do with that's the planning. Then you notice it moves now from the planning stage to the feeling, it's the emotion. What do you want to feel? What do you feel. So then you start seeing that in our emotions. Then the emotions then start traveling through our behavior, is how our body now reacts. So your emotion travels through your body, and that's how we see a reaction. That's what triggers a reaction. And then guess what, guys? Your life is a direct reflection of your thoughts. And that's that's step 5. That's the outcome. The outcome of your thoughts, everything that starts over here in step 1 is manifested over here in step 5. And so in step 1 of the thread system, what I'm proposing is that you start at step 5 with the outcome in mind, knowing what outcome you want. And then you start to think. Then you start to plan. Then you start to feel and react. And then ultimately, you then end up with the outcome that you were wanting in the first place. I'm going to give you a case study. Now, Amy was showing all the signs of burnout. And the signs of burnout was characterized by exhaustion, cynicism, and effectiveness in the workplace. Amy struggled with chronic negative responses to stressful workplace conditions. For example, she was stressed out all the time. She expected too much of herself. She never felt like her work was ever good enough. She always felt unappreciated. She always felt underpaid for the work that she did. And so through coaching with Amy, what we had to do was because she had stacked up all of these evidence through negative self-talk. So going back again, she created her experience that she was having, but she couldn't see it. So she stacked up the evidence that I'm no good, right? I'm not good enough. Things are never going to change for me. I'm stuck in this situation. It's in her thoughts, and it was being manifested in the way she was living. And so with the thread system, step 1, as I said before, is almost like reverse engineering. We had to walk Amy through how to start thinking differently. Number 1 was to think, Amy, who do you want to become? And through our conversations, I learned that Amy wanted to become an HR expert. She loved to build and design systems that help to improve employee performance. And so Amy had to know, 1, think of the woman she wanted to become. The woman was an HR expert. Then we had to figure out, okay, Amy, this is the woman you want to become. How do we get you there? What are the steps that you need to take to manifest this transformed self? And so some of the things that Amy did was Amy had to update her resume. Amy had to do research on the organizations that she wanted to work for, organizations that were most aligned with her values. So she had to do a values test. Amy had to update her LinkedIn profile. Amy had to start applying for jobs which were unaccepted interviews only for positions that were in alignment with the woman she said she wanted to become. The success story here is Amy did find the job, her dream job of being an HR expert. And not only that, Amy also wanted to start a family, build a happy family. Amy also wanted to work from home. So not only did Amy get the HR expert job she was looking for, she also got a position in her hometown. And then she was able to buy a beautiful home by the beach. And then Amy was able to start her beautiful, happy family. And not only did she have 1 kid, she gave birth to twins. Why? Because Amy made a decision about the woman she wanted to become. And she was willing to take the steps necessary to change her story so she could change the way she was showing up. That's step 1 of the thread system, is to think of the woman you want to become. Now, let's jump over to step 2. Now that you know who you want to become, The next step is to harvest data. I love the scripture in the Bible in Lamentations 3 and verse 40 that says, let's examine our ways, and we have to test them and then do something with that. So we're going to talk about how we harvest data. Now, this is where I always tell women, looking back doesn't mean that you are going back. Let's take a look at some definition here. What do we mean by data? Data are facts and statistics collected together for reference or analysis and are often treated as an asset. I'm going to plug my computer in because my computer is giving me a warning sign that it's going to die on us. So let me plug my computer in. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, so step 2 is, so now we're ready for step 2, harvest data. I love the scripture in Lamentations 3 and verse 40 that says, let us examine our ways and test our process. So this is where I tell women, looking back doesn't mean you're going back. So let's take a look at some definition. What do we mean by data? Data are facts and statistics collected together for reference or analysis, and they're often treated as an asset within itself. What do we mean by big data? You've heard that if you're in the business world, you've heard it so many times. Big data is a collection of data that is huge in volume, value, veracity, velocity, and variety, right? It's data so large, and it's pretty complex too. Big data is also data that has is huge in size. What do I mean by live data then? Live data, or AKA what I call lessons learned, are cutting edge discoveries from every single moment of your life. Your life has data, and what you've pulled from on a daily basis, or you pull from the data on a daily basis to help you make decisions. Because this data is so powerful. It has so much meaning and purpose for living. And that's what we're going to focus on in this particular step. How do we now harvest the data? And when I talk about harvesting data, I mean collect it, look at it, test it, relocate it, get rid of it, right? We're going to figure we have to know what we're working with. So we have to harvest the lessons learned from the past. And we're going to use the knowledge that we've gained to forge a new path forward. From there, we now jump over into what we call data-driven decision making. And this is the process of using data to inform your decision-making process and validate a course of action before committing to it. Good decision-making, women, ladies, is an expression of your soul to the world. And we want to really kind of lean into that. I want that to soak into you tonight. Good decision-making is an expression of your soul to the world. So you're telling the world a story by the decisions that we make. And so your life data now is a sum, result, or outcome of all the choices you've made. And these choices that we're talking about are the ones that you've made consciously and unconsciously. If you can control the process of choosing, you can take control of all aspects of your life. Let's look at a case study. So Mary came to me, and Mary was seeking help about her dissatisfaction in her current job at a Fortune 500 company. Now, Mary was working in a toxic work environment, and she was working with low-performing team members. Reporting to a boss who's always told her ideas and presented them as her own, team, and she felt she was doing the job of a boss, but neither was her salary or the title reflective of her contributions to the company. She hated her job, but loved serving people in her community. And so guess what? We got together, and during our coaching, I asked Amy the question of, how did you get here? What decisions did you make that led you to where you are today? And some of the things that we uncovered was, one, Amy always jumped from one job to the next. We call that the emotional sprint, where whenever she was dissatisfied in a position, she would up and leave the position and then go grab another position, but carry the emotional baggage with her. We uncovered that. We uncovered that Amy didn't feel like she was worth the salary that she knew deep down within that should commensurate with her work performance and product. So she didn't believe that she was deserving of that. And so Amy always took low-paying positions. Amy also would stay in positions and relationships way longer than she should have. Why? Because she had very low self-worth. She thought really low about herself. And so we talk about Amy leaving the job, and we talk about not leaving a job when you're dissatisfied and unhappy, but that you need to clean up the mess, look at the data, look at it. And we're gonna, let me jump to a tool that we're gonna talk about, the tool that I used with Mary to really help her to change the trajectory of her life, to achieve intentional transformation. So when we talk about harvesting data, this is where Amy and I had the conversation about, before you make a decision, ask yourself this question: will I regret the results or will I rejoice in them? It's so important to ask yourself those key questions. And so when we talk about harvesting the data, is looking back at those decisions. You know, how did I get here? What did I say yes to when my soul and everything in me was telling me to say no? And so let's go over to step 3, which is to release the patterns. So now that we know that Mary always say yes to low-paying job. We know that. We know that Mary likes to jump from job to job when she's unhappy, and so she keeps carrying these negative emotions with her into her new employment, which means she really attracted a negative boss, a negative work environment. So how do we end that cycle? This is where we release old patterns. This is where you have to believe that you have the power to decide if you will stay stuck where you are, accept life as is, or change what needs to change so that you can begin to move in the right direction. This is where most people do not realize that they're stuck repeating the same behaviors over and over and hoping for a different outcome. Hope without action is not a strategy for transformation. You know, and the Bible scripture that says, faith without works is dead. You gotta take action in order for you to experience intentional transformation. When we talk about releasing the old patterns, we're talking about breaking free from unsupportive patterns that might impede your progress and learn new strategies and ideas. You have to ask yourself meaningful questions. When we talk about releasing old patterns, this is about being intentional and understanding that you have to actively change your mindset about the challenge you face so that you no longer hold a negative charge in your day-to-day experience. Let me introduce you to a method that I've developed, which is called the RAIL method. And this is a method that really helps you to see that you're consciously aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors from the past and the ones you're experiencing in the present. This helps you to become more aware and to make a decision about how you're going to shift from, what you're not wanting to becoming more intentional. The RAIL method says, in order for you to release the hold patterns, the hold behaviors, the unsupportive behaviors and patterns, you have to find it, face it, forgive it, free it, and then fix it. Now, how do we do that? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is that you have to ask yourself some key questions. And one of the big things I like to say to women here is that comfort and success do not live on the same street. And so in the process, you're asking yourself questions like, what's keeping me stuck to the past? What am I afraid of? Who do I need to forgive? What will I lose if I remain the same? And what will my life look like if nothing changes? And so in the real method, I want you to reach for new things. Reach for things that add and are aligned to your values. This is where maybe for you, you're reaching for a new job. You're reaching for healthy living. So you're reaching, you're bringing new things into your life. And then the E is to embrace. Now that you've brought these new things in, it's time to lean into them, embrace them, practice them, do more of the things that will bring you joy and add value to your life and move you closer to the woman that you say you want to become. The A is to accelerate. So you begin to get better and better, more practice. You accelerate the things that helps you to progress in life. Then lastly, you always have to use what I call the letting go mentality of assessing where you are and determining it's time to let go of the things that have kept me stuck or trapped to an old story. Release it and let it go. The real method is a new way, because it's a new way that says we know that we are hardwired to resist change. But here's the thing, change is painful. However, it is our resistance to change. Change is not painful. It is our resistance to change that feels hard, painful, and demotivating. But when you're focusing on three things we can overcome and the psychological cost of change that keeps us chained to the past, here's how we can do that. We use data from our life experience. And we use the data to make better decisions that create positive vision of the future. And guess what happens next? We have to take action steps to make the vision a reality. Let's look at another case study. Meet Linda. Linda came to me as part of a leadership team in the healthcare industry. She loved her career. She knew she wanted to pursue a passion and to follow her dream and her purpose, that she felt she was called to be an orthopedic doctor. Linda and I met, and when we met, we discussed what that would look like for her. So some of the things that we uncovered during the process is that she had to go to medical school. She had applied for medical school. And in order for her to do that, she decided she had to move back home to her parents' home so she could get a job, save the money, apply for medical school, right? Take those tests, apply for medical school. And Mary encountered many roadblocks along the way as she began to bring new things into her life, as she began to lean into the woman that she wants to become. She encountered a lot of roadblocks. But here's the thing. When we had the conversation, she used the reach method to let go of the old story and to reach for the things that were working well for her. And she began to accelerate those things that brought her joy and actually moved her closer to becoming that doctor. Guess what? Now she's in medical school, pursuing her passion for transforming lives through research, education, and patient care. So the real method works. Ladies, don't carry your mistakes around. Don't carry them around you. Instead, you can place them under your feet and use them as stepping stones. Which gets us to just doing a quick recap of where we are in the process. So the first 3 steps Really, they're all about looking in, who do I want to become? Who do I see myself as in 3 to 5 years? And then looking back and saying, where have I been? Why is it? What's keeping me stuck to an old story and is preventing me from moving towards the woman I've always known myself to be? And then letting go of using the real method to let go of the things that no longer serve you so that you can bring new things in your life, accelerate your skills that's needed to really move towards a transformed self, which then takes us to looking at the last 3 steps, steps 4 to 6. Now you're ready to begin your transformation. You're ready to begin the journey to identifying your strengths, to growing and accelerating your skills, and stepping into the transform. Jatanya? Jalen? What's that? Now, step 4 is about enlisting allies. When we talk about enlisting allies, I love this step because this is a step that really, to achieve intentional transformation, we have covered the ones that we talked about. You need someone who has been there, someone who's willing to affirm you, to hold you accountable for reaching those goals that you say you want to become. You need someone who understands you and will support you through the roadblocks and the obstacles and setbacks. So this is a step where I encourage you to ask yourself, do I need an impartial person to work with, such as a therapist, a coach, a mentor, a counselor? You gotta ask yourself, what is it that I really need to really help me through the different challenges? Are there workshops that I can attend? Are there books that I can read to support my vision? You got to ask yourself these questions. And then you're going to move beyond asking yourself to exploring resources, such as coaching, mentoring, books, training, therapy, counseling, the most effective tool that will help you to pull you into your destiny and engage with resources to champion your transformation. We talk about enlisting allies. Does not mean that you're weak or incapable of achieving your results by yourself. No. Mentoring, coaching, and accessing reliable resources seeks to support you and allow you to grow faster by leveraging the guidance of an expert with perspective and the experience and the know-how to help you break through your self-limiting belief. And this is someone who will hold you accountable as well, to help you make sense of the chaos and to be able to navigate through the transformation. So here you have on the screen, how do you build a strong circle of support? I always put them in several buckets. I offer 6 circles here. It could be books, workshops, friends, mentors, therapists, coach, and maybe you have others that you want to add to the list, but build a circle and fill in who you might know that fit, in each circle. And then also outside of the circle is where I encourage you to determine what outcome you want from your circle of support. Now, I really want to encourage you, ladies, to get reliable help. The right information is always prime, and engage with resources to hold you accountable to champion in the transformation. And so I really want you to open yourself to bringing the wisdom of everything that you've learned to the table. Open yourself to allowing others to help you. Open yourself to exploring with resources to help you to build your inner and external skills and to grow your emotional intelligence, to show up so that you can show up in your truth and you can stand tall and connect and anchor into your most transformed self, which leads us to step 5, adopt a new mindset. I love this stuff. This is where it's all about mindset management. So how do you change your reality? You create new patterns that create a new reality. You have to recondition yourself. Now, this isn't something that you change overnight. This is a lifetime commitment to mindfully reprogramming reprogramming yourself, your mindset. Reprogram your mindset for growth. Now, it is what neuroscientists refer to as neuroplasticity. Now, the idea is that you can rewire your brain by creating new behavioral patterns where your cells will fire together and wire together to help you to achieve intentional transformation. When we talk about adapting a new mindset, I want you to understand that you are not your thoughts. You're the thought. You are the thoughts you give the power and attention to. You are a thinker. Your thoughts are in an endless stream. They're always running up and down, but you can control them. The very act means you are the thinker of your thoughts. So in other words, if you imagine your mind to be a farm and your thoughts to be the seeds, then you can plant either good seeds, roses, or bad seeds, thorns, or poison ivy, right? Whichever seed you choose to focus on and plant, it will then grow and multiply. And the same happens in your mind. Whichever thought you choose to focus on and plant, it will grow and multiply. Trust me when I say that. And I want you to believe me, ladies, when I say you are the planter of the seeds. You are the thinker of your thoughts. Do you want to flourish? Do you want your mind to flourish into a garden of roses or a farm of poison? You get to decide. You get to decide if you want to create new patterns. You get to decide how do you want to create these new patterns. And I want to offer some quick tips on how to do so. Here's how you do it. You increase your awareness by observing your emotions and body reactions. I want you to be more conscious of what you give. Be conscious of what thoughts you give your attention to. This is what psychologists call metacognition, which is the idea of thinking about or thinking. So the next time you feel a strong emotion, bring your awareness in. Bring that awareness to it by pausing. And I want you to ask yourself, it's not the thoughts that pass through. I want you to ask yourself, are these the thoughts I want to think? Because here's the thing. It's not the thoughts that pass through your head that impacts life. It's the one you take possession of and think about all day long. Once we agree to give attention to a thought, it becomes more and more real to us. And over time, it overpowers us. And so I want you to also recognize that we live in a world of thought. Our thoughts create our experiences. And thus, we experience what we think. The quality of your thoughts create the quality of your life. And so it's so important to adopt a new mindset. And how do we do it? We can explore neuroplasticity, and we talk about that and we explore that in this program. Neuroplasticity refers to your brain's ability to restructure or rewire itself. I know many of you have experienced severe trauma, not only at home, but at work and in the community and in life overall. And so it will take some time for you to rewire your brain so you can adapt to a new way of thinking, a new way of showing up, a new way of behaving. In other words, it can continue developing and changing throughout your life. You can rewire your brain. And although it may seem pretty complicated, and it was complicated, I thought about, when I first heard the word, but it's absolutely something that you can do at home. And during this program, we talk about how to do it. Now, I'm a case study. I'm going to share a case study, and I'm the case study. I'm a survivor and a woman in leadership doing good things across several industries. But there was a dissonance between the woman I was living versus the woman I felt deep in my heart I was created to be. And so after reflecting on several milestones that, I've achieved over my lifetime, I started to rebuild my life. And the first thing I had to do was to make a really tough decision to end my marriage. And then I had to make the tough decision of relocating across the state line. So from the East Coast to the West Coast. And then I had to make the tough decision of starting all over, new job, new place, new lifestyle as a single mom. And I have to say that after almost 10 years, I've had no regrets. I had to learn how to rewire my mindset and adopt new behaviors, new lifestyle, new way of thinking, new way of seeing things, new way of operating so that I could get a different outcome. Okay. And some of the outcomes that I've achieved over the years is that now I sit in a C-suite as a COO. I'm a published author. I'm an award-winning organizational and talent development practitioner. I'm your mentor. Now, you're talking about a woman who was a broken girl, a woman who felt like, life was over at one point when she was going through a divorce. I had to shift my thinking and change my story by taking action steps. And you too can achieve that intentional transformation in your life. Now, today you have the opportunity to transcend from a disempowered mindset to an empowered reality. You are the co-creator of your story. You can co-create and partner with God to create a magnificent story that your future self is so going to enjoy reading. You have the tools now. You have the tools. You can get the tools through this program to help you to create the masterpiece that you've envisioned for your life. Which then takes us to looking at, how to change the evidence that we've stacked up against ourselves. And to understand that change is the only evidence that signals growth. So all the evidence that you have that's keeping you stuck, it's time to get rid of them. You must stay evolving. And in order for you to do that, you've got to take intentional steps to get there. The last step is to design your success. The final step is where you're going to grow. You have to be intentional if you want to grow. Now, this is where you have to know that you know who you want to become, because you've done that in step one, right? You know who you want to become. So step into this new, wiser, and transformed self. You got to step into it and practice it in order for you to manifest it, to bring it to life. You have to learn the lessons, right? And use the data that you've acquired to make better decisions that will keep you in alignment with the woman you're becoming. You have to release those old patterns, unhealthy and unsupportive behaviors, right? That might impede your progress. You have a three-step tool to release the painful stories, to release the painful patterns. You've identified ways that you can access people and resources that will help to support your transformed self. Ladies, never shrink back or shrink yourself for someone else. Comfort, don't do that. I want you to take all the tools and the information and the strategies and tips that you acquired during this program to shine your light bright as possible. Because when your light is shining, that's what will give hope and inspiration to others to do the same. Now, an intentional life accepts everything but does nothing. An intentional life embraces only the things that will add to the mission of your significance. And that's John C. Maxwell that said that. Now, today I promised you a 6 step-by-step system to help you shift strategy, improve performance, and grow your revenues so you can increase your impact. Today, we went over how to get crystal clear about the woman you want to become. We talked about how to examine lessons learned from the past using your life data to make better decisions. We talk about how to break free from unsupportive patterns using my 3-step system. We also talk about, how to go and get reliable help, how to build a circle of support. We talk about how to embrace a new mindset, looking at how to rewire the brain. We talk about how to design a roadmap with milestones that will empower you to live and breathe the excitement about the future. This is the 6 steps. Think, harvest, release, enlist, adopt, design. That's the 6-step system that you need to achieve intention. You can use this system to achieve intentional transformation. You have a choice. You can stay stuck not knowing what decisions are keeping you stuck in unhealthy behaviors, thinking, and relationships. You can go back to struggling to decide who you want to become. You can keep holding on to unsupportive systems that do not support the woman that you know you've always known yourself to be. Or if you want a life that represents intentional transformation, a life you can co-create with God, you have unlimited power within you to move towards being more intentional. How can I help you? You can visit my website and head over to the course site and sign up today. Apply for the 7 weeks program and then schedule a call so that we can do an assessment, because it's a coaching call where we're going to walk through what are the goals you're wanting to accomplish in this program and how to help you to get there. Who is this for? This program is for thinkers, adapters, warriors, pioneers, dreamers, and trailblazers. Why am I doing this? Because my mission is your transformation. There's so many smart women, brilliant and beautiful souls who are constantly giving their power away. Too many talented women are stuck in soul-draining jobs, toxic relationships, dead-end jobs that are negatively impacting their lives. And I want to change that. Plus, I know you will need support in executing the steps that we discussed today to help you to achieve intentional transformation. So if we can discuss it, we can talk about, the steps more and I'll answer your questions. And if you feel that this program is not for you, that's okay as well. The 7 weeks program, here's the roadmap of the program and what we will achieve over the 7 weeks. I also want to say that, I love what TD Jakes says. He says, even great minds question, themselves, yet they feel the fear and they do it anyway. All of what I've shared with you today, the 7 steps. In addition, the program includes, meditation. There's a tool, there are books, there's a curriculum. It's truly a 7-week program designed to help you achieve intentional transformation. I want you to get the support you need to achieve the outcome you want and deserve in your life. So a part of this program entails support, inspiration, training, feedback, tools, a community, outcomes, purpose, celebration. All of this, guess what, ladies, for $4.99. 7 weeks, $4.99, or 2 payments of $2.49. And it comes with coaching, and it comes with a free copy of my book that's coming out this year. You will hear when you're part of the community. You get a free copy of that book. You have a 7-day money back guarantee. Place the order, you start the program, you feel this is not for me, you have 7 days to request a refund. Your next steps, head over to www.leoniemattison.com. Space is extremely limited. Sign up today. Do not delay. I so appreciate the gift of your time in just staying with me for the last 54 minutes to really talk about this program. I appreciate you. I know that you were created for more because you're watching this video. And I know that you're going to achieve more. Join Intentional Transformation Mentorship Program. Register, apply to be part of the 7-week journey. Schedule a one-on-one session with me so we can have a conversation about how I can support you. It is an honor and a delight and such joy for me to help you to achieve intentional transformation personally, professionally, or as part of your business goals. Thank you so much for the gift of your time today. My name is Dr. Leonie H. Mattison. Take care now.